Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome back to GRL Talks. Yes, again, but listen, this time we are saying it with confidence. We've wrapped up season 10, we are gearing up for season 11, and instead of making promises we can't keep, we are just going to keep rolling and hope for the best. Today's episode is all about fresh faces and new blood in the paddock. We are joined by some of the new and experienced team owners and assistant team owners who are about to enter their GRL season. Before the draft, before the chaos, and before they realize what they've signed up for. With me today are Ted Head, man that managed to survive season as a team owner at Zauber, or if you prefer Green Willy Bean, and moved over to Mercedes for upcoming campaign. Sam, new Mercedes assistant team owner. Is he going to help Ted Head win it all, or is he just trying to take his spot at the end? Invade, person that is about to make his debut on GRL draft night and as a team owner. A man that wants to prove everyone that Haas can be successful. Is he going to fight at the top, or is he going to end up just like a Ginter Steiner? And Woody, Toy Story man that some people are familiar with, managed to get Haas to fourth in OCC and failed with McLaren last season fighting for his life in mid-table. So let's get to know them before season 11 officially kicks off. Before we jump into the questions and get to know our new team owners, there's something really important we need to talk about, and that's the FOR League officially merging into GRL. FOR was a massive league on its own, with over 2,000 members, a strong community, and a long history in the sim racing space. So this isn't just a few drivers joining. This is two established communities coming together. This merge is a big step forward for GRL. It means more competition, more depth across the divisions, and a bigger platform for drivers and teams heading into season 11. To everyone coming over from FOR, welcome to GRL. We are excited to have you here, and we can't wait to see what you bring to the grid this season. Hopefully, not only chaos. And with that is the perfect time to introduce some of the new team owners, many of whom are part of this next chapter in GRL. So let's get straight into it. Fresh season, fresh teams, and a lot of expectations to live up to. So if we are on the topic of the expectations, because right now everything is still hope and potential. So Ted Head, can you introduce yourself and tell us quickly what made you want to become a team owner in GRL?
So I'm Ted Ed, and what made me want to become a team owner? I mean, I wanted to take the next step from just driving in leagues and try something new and see if I could succeed. And I was quite close to it last season, so definitely wanted to try again, see if I could actually get it done this season.
Okay, was this something you would been planning for a while, or was it just more of why not let's try this?
Yeah, definitely a bit more of a why not? Let's try.
Okay, and how familiar are you with the league already?
I'd say I'm quite a lot more familiar this season than I was last season, but yeah, I'm learning quite quickly, I'd say.
Okay, and what's one thing you are most excited about heading into season 11?
Seeing if just my first season wasn't a fluke and if I can actually stick at the top instead of falling down the table.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So now let's talk Invade. Can you also introduce yourself and tell us what made you want to become a team owner?
Hello. Well, I'm Invade, and I saw the sign up come out, and I just thought, why not? Let's try and get a bit more involved in the league. Give it a go. Let's see how I do.
Okay, so that was also like a spontaneous decision, like with that head.
Yeah. Definitely just on the impulse.
Okay, and how familiar are you with the league?
Um, I'd, I'd say I've got all right knowledge. I wouldn't say I definitely wouldn't say I've got the best, but willing to learn.
Okay, and what's the one thing that you're most excited about next season?
Um, hopefully fighting at the top, and hopefully getting some championships. But we're gonna have to stay realistic. hopefully to not finish last.
Okay, so what, in your opinion, would be a successful season as a team owner on your debut?
I'd say top 5 in the overall constructors.
Okay, that sounds reasonable and not over optimistic. So yeah, that sounds good. So let's move over to Woody. So Woody, introduce yourself and what made you want to become a assistant team owner?
Yeah, hello, I'm Woody. I think I stepped down as assistant team owner because obviously last season I was a team owner, and I just didn't really find I had all the time in the world to put 100% into it. So I thought it'd be better off giving the opportunity to someone that would. But yeah, I'm happy still being in a role of a assistant team owner and helping wherever I can.
Okay, so were you before the season started, before the sign-up started, were you planning to be a ATP, or that was something that just came up in a process
No,
that someone just asked you?
I was planning on being an ATP uh, towards the end of last season. It was always planned not to start up as a full-time team owner again in case I couldn't put the effort in because I fell off towards the end of this season, like last season.
Okay, that sounds fair. And what's the one thing that you're most excited for next season?
Well, definitely for my own driving, I'm excited to try have a bit more of a competitive season, but also being in a team that it's expected to do well after winning 2 in a row. Then the next question is, can they go back to back to back? And I'll try my hardest to help us do the impossible.
And that will be also interesting to see if that was actually a Cintium effect and Cintium was just pulling that team to the top, or is it actually a Ferrari brand that is just doing very well now? So that will be definitely eyes on Ferrari to see how they are doing this season. Okay, so now it's Sam. Sam, can you introduce yourself and again what made you to become ATP?
Okay, so yeah, I'm Sam. And yeah, last season I was obviously picked by Ted to drive for Sauber, and I knew him a little bit before, and he was sort of one of the only people I knew in the league. So I sort of helped him where I could, and then we decided to just make it sort of so we were working together this season because as he said, we had quite a good season together last season. We both won the championships respectively, so quite a good team, I think.
Okay, so you were working together last season, and this season you kind of make it official.
Pretty much, yeah. But I'm trying to get a bit more involved in the running of it this season, help him out a bit, especially with the more of the divisions. We'll probably need both of us instead of just him as it was last season.
Okay, that's good. Every committed driver is definitely valuable driver and member of the community. And how familiar are you with the league?
So yeah, I've raced. Last season was my first full season, so I think I've definitely gained a lot of knowledge from racing in Division 4 and 3. So I'd like to think when it comes to picking drivers, then we'd have quite decent knowledge between us. So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good place.
Okay, and what's the thing that you're most excited about next season?
Well, Mercedes I saw were the overall leaders, out of the 10 seasons it's been. So just kind of restoring them back to towards the top of the grid and kicking on from our success last season as well. I can't wait.
Okay, and on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident are you in the project with Head?
Um, I mean, if you'd have asked me maybe a couple of days ago, I would have said 8 or 9. But obviously now with the merger, it's going to make it a lot harder for everyone. So I'd give it a 7.
Okay, that's still a solid number.
Yeah.
So let's talk now a little bit more about the draft side of the new season. So Head, going into the draft, what kind of team are you hoping to build? The one that got a raw pace, consistency, or just drivers who won't cause admins a headache?
I think it's good in a 7 division or maybe more league to have a big mix within the team. You definitely want people with raw pace, otherwise you're not going to see many wins. But you also want a lot of committed and consistent drivers who'll turn up every week, score half decent points, and so you can have like a consistent week where you're not having very high highs and very low lows. So otherwise you'll see yourself at the middle of the OCC. But if you can be consistent and also quick, you'll find yourself at the top. So yeah, looking for that.
So you are pretty much looking for a sweet spot to balance everything to make sure that everything clicks together.
100%.
Okay. Do you already have like a draft strategy in mind?
Not really. I mean, last season I kind of just winged it, but kind of sort the same. But also now knowing more people, it all depends on where everyone's placed. But yeah, I know a bit more, so try and
Okay.
use that.
So is there a specific type of driver you don't want on your team?
Yeah, definitely. Just the ones who are like either too dirty and getting too many penalties, or the ones who aren't committed and don't care, or just retire in the pit straight away. I just want people who will fight till the end and maybe get only a couple of points, but each point matters.
Yeah, especially when, like in GRL, every 15 drivers score the points, not only 10.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so which division do you think will be the toughest this season in European to draft them? Like it will be that a struggle for you one of the top divisions, or you will be more struggling with the bottom divisions?
I'd say between Division 2 and 3, because that's where I struggled last season. Had quite a few drivers coming and going. Wasn't able to really get it right, but yeah, one of those two, I'd say.
Okay, that sounds good. So Invade, let's move over to you again. So again, going into the draft, what kind of team you are planning to have? The one with the raw pace, consistency, or
I'm more looking for consistency and also good vibes because I feel like a team needs good vibes to actually perform well as a unit. If there's not good vibes, I don't imagine we'll be doing well. But obviously, consistency is the main point. Any points matter. Obviously, you need a bit of pace, but if you're just consistent, not the quickest, not the slowest, I'm happy.
okay, that sounds good. So you are hoping that with a good vibe, that the drivers will just keep pushing themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and do you have any kind of strategy for a draft night? Do you actually have an idea or roughly how does it look like?
Uh, no idea. I'm just gonna wing it, see what happens, and gotta hope for the best.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Risky, but as Ted had said, he pretty much winged it last season and he finished second in the OCC, fighting until the last round for overall constructors championship. So that might be the way to go for a first season. And what division you think you will struggle the most with?
I feel like I'll struggle more with the lower divisions like Div 6, Div 7 because I don't really know any of the drivers down there. And yeah, it will be quite difficult.
Okay, that's interesting point of view. So okay, and then we'll move over to Woody now again. And
Oh,
Woody, what your team is planning to do? Are you looking for a pace? Are you looking for a consistency, or are you willing to take anyone?
so definitely consistency and pace is important, but we're mainly looking for people with a good attitude and personality towards the league. If someone's got good pace, but they're just like I said, gonna cause admins headaches and won't own up to any of their own mistakes, it's not worth them joining our team.
Okay, and would you rather take a risk on a raw speed or play it safe with consistency, especially in your first season as an ATP and in a
Uh,
Ferrari?
oh yeah, definitely consistency. Just plodding along, getting points, and they will add up. If you having the pace is good, but if it leads to a crash and multiple DNFs, it's not going to do your team any good.
Okay, so you would rather play it safe.
Yeah, safe. Well, there'll be some risks. There'll definitely be some quick drivers we have in mind to grab. So it's like Ted was saying, you want the balance of everyone.
Okay. Does your team already have some kind of a strategy for a draft? So
Yes.
have you talked about that? And yeah,
Yeah. I think this is where I'll be a good benefit as an ATP because the time I put into scouting every division, writing up a table, and kind of getting a good list for by the time draft night comes, we're ready to we have our first to last pick, and we go from there.
okay. And what kind of driver you don't want definitely in your team?
Uh, Definitely dirty drivers that won't learn from their mistakes. Obviously, you're gonna get incidents that happen, but if drivers aren't going to put their hand up and are not willing to drive cleaner, then they're not welcome in the team.
Okay. And what will be your toughest division in your opinion?
Um, well, it's going to be hard with the new league joining, but I think Division 1, if you don't get a good lineup straight away, you're going to find yourself hard to get into it because there was maybe 6 or 7 dominant drivers in Division 1 this season. Other than that, there was like a bit of a gap. So getting that right, I think, is crucial.
Okay, so getting a good lineup so you can actually kick off on a high and
Yeah,
then avoid the PD for a transfer outside the transfer window, right?
exactly that. You want to get your drivers that you know are going to stay there for the season long.
Okay. And Sam, it will be the same
Hello.
questions to you. We are just trying to see your point of view.
Yeah.
Uh, what you would be looking for, a raw pace or consistency?
Well, yeah. So I think I like what Invade said actually about the having a good vibe in your team because I think if everyone's together and everyone's having a laugh, even outside of race days, then you can all be practicing together, and that sort of environment sort of encourages people to put more into the league. So you'll have people practicing more if they actually enjoy what they're racing for.
Okay, so for let's say for example on a draft night you you're responsible for let's say picks in one of the divisions. Would
Yeah.
you take the risk on a picking a drivers with a raw pace, or would you rather play it safe with consistency?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to have sort of one each per division. So obviously, you want that guy who can, take a race, win it, and then if he, maybe makes an error, you want someone there to pick up the pieces. But obviously, that might be quite unrealistic depending on picks and placements, etc. So I think if I had to choose, I'd like consistency, just so we are picking up points every week, and we're always there in the standings reviews at come the end of the week.
Okay, and is there any specific type of driver you would never take?
I mean, I think the big thing with this league is drivers that turn up every week. Obviously, we've seen a lot of teams get points deductions for using reserves, and that's something that I don't want to happen at all this season. I don't want to see a Mercedes point deduction for using too many reserves. So I just want people that are going to turn up every week, put a bit of practice in. I'm not talking, you've got to practice loads, but just be committed to the league, and yeah, I'll be happy with that.
At least show some effort.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and what would you consider a successful first season as a ATP?
Um, I think we want to, obviously, from last season, we want to push on and get first. But as long as we're in that battle come the end of the season for top spot, I think it will be a successful season regardless. But obviously, yeah, ideally we wanna take the title off Ferrari, but we'll see.
Yeah, obviously considering that Mercedes was struggling since season six. To be honest, they were never close to the top since season six when I actually was a team owner of them, of the
Yeah,
Mercedes, when we actually won the OCC. and then it was just a big, massive drop off, which will probably affect the peak. So, do you have any plan
Yeah.
for that?
I mean, yeah. So we want to just get them back to where you got them essentially, and yeah. But obviously, yeah, like you said, the picks are important and where drivers are placed are important. But as I said before, we've got a lot of flexibility. We've only got 2 drivers permanently signed, which are me and Ted. So we've got, depending on the placements, we've got a big job to do. But then also we get a bit more choice over it. So excited.
Okay, that's perfect. So let's now talk about a little bit more about last season also. So season 10 gave us a drama, surprises, and some unforgettable moments. So let's look a little bit behind. So Ted Head, from the outside looking in, what stood out the most for you about season 10?
Um, I mean, it's hard to say, but I think, especially in my team, I had a few standout drivers which I was definitely not expecting. Like, I'd say Snowy in Div 1 was the biggest standout to me because I got him right in the middle of the draft, which was like, I was not expecting anywhere near the season like he had, and he won Division 1, and that was very shocking to me. So, yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, to be honest, Jay Snowy with that Division 1 performance, he actually proved that consistency usually beats the raw pace.
100%, yeah. Like turning up almost every week, scoring top 5 points every single race. It just adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah. So okay, so is there any team or owner from last season you are already keeping an eye on?
Yeah, definitely Triangle Lemon at Ferrari because we was battling for that second and third spot all season. I mean, was trying to break into Ferrari, but it never really looked that possible. So yeah, I'd say him.
Okay. And what do you think will be the biggest challenge for new owners in season 11?
Um, It'll definitely be finding out who's actually committed and who actually wants to improve and do well, and also realizing who's like just not performing and taking the risk on certain like new people maybe.
Okay. Uh, okay, so now over to Invade again. So Invade, what stood out for you the most about last season?
Not really sure. I'd say how close the overall like constructors battle for the title actually was. I mean, it's quite impressive how close that was and how competitive all the teams at the top were in every division. So hopefully it can happen again for this season.
Okay, yeah, that's good that you are mentioning that because obviously you joined halfway through the season and you still spot that the battle in OCC was up until the last round, and it wasn't actually sure until we counted the points after the Stewart report who is actually going to take that sweet top spot. Okay, is there any team or team owner from last season that you spot and you keep an eye on him?
I'll have to say my old team owner of Triangle Lemon. He's the only one who I know, and obviously he was my team owner for last season, and he definitely is very interactive and committed to the role. So it's going to be fun battling against him, hopefully.
Okay, and what do you think will be the biggest challenge for you in next season?
I'd say being a new team owner, obviously not having as much knowledge as most others. So I mean, I will be on the back or off the start until I learn the role, and I mean, hopefully I can get up to speed quickly.
Okay, we wish you luck then with that. Okay, then Woody,
Yo.
and what stood out for you the most about last season?
It's got to be the main man Bolt for McLaren. I managed to get him to picked me after winning in winning in season 9, and then he decided to come with me at McLaren, and he won Division 3 by 2 points, as well as McLaren winning the championship there as well. But it just shows with his consistency. He had a struggle to start with, but I think with the three-way tie going into that last race, and he just managed to nick it.
Okay. And did anything from last season make you think, yeah, I need to avoid that at all costs?
What do you mean? Would
So
avoid?
was there anything last season that happened that you said to yourself like we need to avoid that in next season?
Um, I hmm. No, I don't think so. Not
Okay,
off the top of my head, no.
did you get a points deduction for reserve usage?
Um, no, I stayed clear of that. I think I've got 1 point deduction only for changing drivers. We stayed pretty clean on point deductions.
Okay, that's a solid season then, I would say, because there was not many teams without the PD for our reserve usage
Mm.
or a couple of PDs for driver transfers.
Yeah.
Okay, any team or team owner from last season that you need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, so couple for a competitive one is definitely Ted. He obviously took the fight with Ferrari last season, and then Triangle Lemons at Williams. Now Triangle Lemons is in the Ferrari. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think Ted's going to be like very good in the Mercedes. I'll be keeping an eye on the McLaren team. I think we've got Kieran there. Obviously, I've got a love for McLaren, so it'll be nice to see how they do and compare to my previous season with them. And then there's Steve, who's a new team owner. That will be more of a personal one, just trying to stay ahead of him as mates. It will just be a nice little rivalry.
Yeah, as you obviously mentioned a couple of names, and I'm actually glad that you mentioned Ted Head because obviously I think Ted Head what he's done with Sauber last season, he
Yeah,
absolutely outperformed the
brilliant.
team because no, we know that from experience that not many people usually want to drive Sauber, but he actually managed to get the good team to get the drivers, and he managed to actually keep the drivers like Jay Snow stay throughout the season.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenge. I tried to poach a couple of his drivers, but they wanted to stay with him. So fair play. It got him where it got him, and we'll see if he can do it again. He's got to prove it's not a fluke now.
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned, also Stevie. So Stevie, we know that he spent a season with Sintium. So let's
Yes.
see if he actually learned what he was supposed to learn to actually fight at the top. And what do you think will be the biggest challenge for the new team owners in season 11?
I think it will be the transfer window. I think some drivers are easily persuaded to join established team owners that know have done well and might be uh, doing better that season. So I think that's going to be the biggest issue is keeping their drivers that are doing well in their team.
Yeah, so as we already mentioned it by Invade, that that vibe will be actually crucial if you are a new team owner to actually try and keep the drivers with you
Mm.
for throughout the season and the transfer window, where we know that everything will be poaching the best drivers.
Yeah, but you got to be careful as well because you can give people a 2-season contract, which worked for me this season, but the season before I gave my best driver one and it ended up costing me a 40-point deduction when he left the team. So you've got to be very careful with how you dish out your contracts.
Exactly. So over to the Sam now, and Sam, what stood out for you the most in season 10? We obviously know that you won the championship, no, in Division 4.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's great. I wasn't expecting it at all coming from Div 6, obviously. So yeah, it was definitely a shock. But I mean, thanks to Ted as well. He believed in me at the start of the season. I don't think he expected it either. But yeah, no, both had a good season. And to be honest, the biggest thing that stood out is actually how well Sauber did and how involved I was. Because I mean, obviously Ted did all the work, but I was helping, with a few drivers and stuff like that. So it was just nice to be involved. I just expected to get up on a Monday and drive. But it was nice to be a bit more involved and hopefully carry that on into this season.
Okay, that's great then. Yeah, as I already mentioned, you did actually well throughout the season, as we raced together in one division for most of the season, and I just saw your performances. Like at the start, you were just outside of the podium, and then at the end, you were just fighting for the wins consistently every week in, week out.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a shock. I think after the first race, I was like, I've got a podium, but points finishes is what I'll take, and then it just kept getting better from there. So yeah, no, very happy with how it went.
Okay, any particular team owner or team that you will keep your eye on them?
I'm gonna say V carb, because obviously Atom's with Koi there, so Atom obviously is the owner, so he knows what he's doing. So I think we'll have to watch out for them. They've signed Blade already, who we all know is a great driver. So I think they might be one to watch potentially to get V carb back towards the top of the grid.
Yeah, so that I mean that might be actually a dangerous lineup of TP and ATP, Akoi and Atom. Obviously, they are both here for a long time. Pretty all Atom obviously from the start of the league, and Koi, I believe, is pretty much also from the beginning. I
Yeah,
I remember I started in season 3, and he was already here. So yeah, they are both experienced drivers. Koi know how to fight with the team at the top of the OCC, so that will definitely a team that to keep your eyes on.
100%. Yeah.
And okay, so what do you think will be the biggest challenge for the new team owners in season 11?
Um, I think the biggest challenge will probably be uh the transfer window in the middle. Just to echo what Woody said, it is so easy for people who know people to just be persuaded by their friends or an already established team, like you said. So I think it's just building a relationship with all your drivers that this is the place to be. We work well together as a team, and just keep hold of those who've done well for you, and then also have a reason for other drivers to join your project mid-season to replace those who maybe aren't doing so well.
Okay, then. So now let's talk about some predictions for next season before the reality hits all of us. So this is your all of your chance to big talk before the season starts. So Tedhead, where do you realistically see your team finishing in season 11?
Uh, I'd like to back myself, and I think we're going to win it this season. I
Okay,
think
and what would you have to go? And what? How do you think? What would you? What will be the key to do to beat that expectation?
um, I mean, tweaking a few things that I did from last season. I mean, trying to make sure that I can keep the parts of last season that I did well, and obviously finishing second last season. Hopefully, that's like a good thing where I can convince drivers to maybe join me mid-season, and using like all the experience that I gained last season, developing myself to make sure that I can push forward and try and win it this season.
Okay, and do you think that a new team owner can win a championship straight away?
Um, yeah, definitely. Anyone can do it, but I think this season it's going to be very difficult as there's a lot more experienced team owners. So I think it'll be a lot more difficult this season than maybe it was last season, but anyone can win it.
Okay, and then one more question. Give me one bold blind prediction of which team will finish at the bottom of OCC.
Uh, I think Aston Martin.
Okay, so you think the curse will keep going.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Invade, now over to you. Where do you think your team will finish in season 11?
I'll go with a respectable P4 finish.
Okay, that's still solid. And do you think that a new team owner can win championship straight away?
Yeah, why not? I reckon we could get one to win one.
Okay. And again, give me one bold prediction of which team will finish at the bottom of the OCC.
Um, I will say, if I need to have a look who's actually the team owners. I think I'd say Red Bull.
Okay. That who is actually the team owner of the Red Bull?
Yeltsin.
Okay, so that's actually quite interesting to see. He will be a new team owner also, so it will be interesting to see how he will do with the Red Bull. Obviously, Red Bull is a known team, one of the tops in real life, and people usually are quite fancy driving the Red Bull. Not all of them, but many of them do. And okay, Woody, then where do you
Hello.
see Ferrari finishing in season 11?
I think I've got to say it has to be a top three with being a title contender. I'm not going to go out there and say we're going to win it. It's definitely the plan, but to go back to back to back and following Sinton's footsteps is going to be very difficult. So, but definitely top three easily.
Okay, and do you think that new team owner can win a championship straight away?
Not this season. It's possible it can be done, but it won't happen this season.
Okay, and also one bold prediction: who is gonna finish at the bottom?
As much as I want it to be Steve at Alpine, I actually think it's going to be Invade at Haas. I don't think.
Oh,
I think with being a new team owner, Haas doesn't get a lot of eyes to that team. I've been a team owner of Haas. It's difficult keeping people in the seat. I managed to do all right with him. I took him to fourth this season. Hayes has taken him down a bit, and I think they might. Invade's gonna have to do a very good job to get him up.
okay, we will keep an eye on that. So, and then we've got the Sam. Where do you realistically see Mercedes finishing at the end? Sam?
Hello, sorry, I was muted. I'm back. So yeah, I mean, I think I've got to echo my team owner's words. I can't really have him saying we're going to win it and me not. So I think yeah, we can take the step forward this season definitely. But yeah, I think the aim for everyone at Mercedes will be to win this season.
Okay, and do you think that new team owner can win a championship straight away?
Yeah, I do. I think well, it was close last season with Ted, and you know that was with Ted having little knowledge of the league. Some of these guys coming in have already raced here before, just not been a team owner. So it all just depends on draft night and you know having some unexpected drivers like Snowy was last season. Maybe people get lucky with picks. So yeah, I think anyone can win it, to be honest.
Okay, so how do you think was the main key, and what it takes to win the championship as a new team owner?
I think like Invade said earlier and like I said earlier, it's just trying to keep a good vibe, keep everyone in the mood to practice a lot and really have a desire and a passion to get good results for the team. Because if you have something everyone's you know excited to work towards, it will definitely help results.
Okay, and one bold prediction of who is going to finish at the bottom.
Who's going to finish at the bottom? I'm going to go Alpine. I think Steve is going to have a stinker.
Okay, then receipt will be kept. This is GRL. We never forget, so we will definitely keep an eye on that, and
Okay.
we're gonna take the notes. And that at the moment all the questions to all of you. And now it that's enough of a serious talk. It's time for our famous flappers. So fast answers only. It's not no thinking, no PR. And I know that Sam already wanted to do that, so Sam, that one will be for you. So I
Okay.
believe that everyone knows the rules. I'm asking 5 questions, and you need to answer as quick as possible.
Okay. Let's go.
So, first word that comes to mind when you hear draft night.
Pressure.
What scares you more, turn one, or future driver's ego?
Turn one.
If your team had a reality show, what would it be called?
Uh, Let's go with. I think the chase.
Okay. And
Copy that.
what's your favorite plant?
My favorite plant.
Yes.
Love a good rose. You know, got to keep the missus happy.
Okay. So, and that wraps up our season 11 launch episode of GRL Talks. So, huge thanks to our new team owners and ATPs for jumping in before the draft and trusting us with the microphones. Season 11 is shaping up to be something special. New teams, new rivals, and plenty of chaos still to come. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick with us because the time we are keeping GRL talks rolling all season long. No promises but strong intentions. Season 11 is loading. We will see you on draft night.